There's some dark shit happening in the world, and we'd just like to acknowledge that today. This song is called The Victims of Silence. You know what, hip-hop, we need
you to really get into this, for real.
People take beats from each other. This is Notorious BIG's beat. This is not our beat. We did not make this up. But there's a very important story that we told last April, and we're going to tell it again. So, it's in December, and I got a story to tell, and I got no time to worry about telling it well. I've been up all night reading shit on CNN, and I think I might go crazy if I read it again, so I send it to Dan.
I read about Iraqi children who see nothing of the better world we're supposed to be building, psychologically unstable from all of the violence, so we're speaking for the victims of silence.
Alright, one, Mustafa Kareem, a little 9-year-old boy. He watched his uncle's brain matter deploy. A little 9-year-old boy, and now I'm sitting thinking thoughts in my head, like how this little kid is living and his uncle is dead. His dad too. I'm really mad to add that his dad too was shot in plain view, and he cries cause it's true. And I don't really know why I'm talking to you, except for maybe if I share we could see what we do. It's quite pitiful. This boy Mustafa's story is typical. For children in Iraq the situation is critical. We can't even envision the conditions they live in, cause an article on CNN is all that we're given. So I read on. Reality is bomb blasts and gunfire, sectarian violence and life behind barbed wire. It sounds dire, the kind of story bound to inspire religious fervor and Christians to murder soldiers for hire.
Your roads are on knows firsthand the horror affected by violence in a way that will forever scar. Seems like a normal girl, a happy enough child, but constant war is transformed into a Jekyll and Hyde. As soon as bombs fall from the sky, a gunfire erupts, she seizures uncontrollably, her whole body tensed up. A psychology's fucked our invasion created the situation, and here I thought Iraqi people was who we were saving. Outside of a school, Zaman was kidnapped among another little girls who were snapped, kept locked in the crowd and ruined no life from the outside until ransoms were demanded for each one of their lives. One of the families couldn't pay. The daughter was raped and murdered, and next to a dead body, her mom was forced to lay. And to this day, this 8-year-old girl, afraid to sleep during the night, she just screams as she weeps.
Right? It's hard to quantify the quality of the strife. You know how tragedy can come and get a hold of your life. So if every day was tragic, maybe you could imagine how the tragedy would stop your life from even happening. 1 in every 5 kids isn't going to school cause they're living in a conflict zone under the rule of violence, separated from their family and homes, life reduced to rubble and stones. I swear I hear moans, my heart breaks every time I see a picture of a face of a new silent victim, life lost with no trace. Studies estimate and demonstrate 50% of all Iraqi children witness a traumatic event, and they got nowhere to vent because the doctors are gone. It's too dangerous to work, so they had to move on and flee the country. Either that or they could end up bloody, cause there's no making money when a gun rules the country.
I can't imagine living where brutality's commonplace. I can't fathom such conditions cause America's safe. Yet in Iraq, survival has become a paradigm. No rest for the weary, no relief from hard times. The only work available is somewhere distant. Food and water inconsistent, healthcare mostly non-existent. Buses, residencies, corner stores, and even the markets all carry the weight of being civilian targets. But it's fine food to eat or slowly die in starvation. That's an awful situation to be placed in. 5-year-old kids equate suffering with normality. Rotting corpses left in the street are part of their reality. Living in Iraq for them means pain and suffering, and I'm not saying enough. If this has made you feel nothing, little kids have seen more murder and strife than anyone, no matter who, should have to see in their life. Terrorism has no place in one place that it lives. The evil actions of men can't be placed on the kids. The media is hesitant to show you just one face, but these silent victims are still part of the human race, and the stories are evidence. But what we do was evident. Our intervention in Iraq was far from heaven sent.
Every day I sit down and soak up the daily digest to remind myself that I'm blessed to still be up and soaking while the ground is still smoking cause we leveled it down. Iraqi children and buildings are spilling blood on the ground. It's happening now. How can we even try to pretend that we did all that we could to make the violence end? We're rational men and still we gotta turn to violence. So we're speaking for the victims of silence. Mustafa Kareem, Zaman, they all really exist, trapped inside a world different than this one. And it's fun to picture a world with no violence, but we're speaking for the victims of silence. Yeah, we're speaking for the victims of silence. Yeah, we're speaking for the victims of silence. Cause the world won't speak for those caught in the violence. So we're speaking for the victims of silence. Thank you.